Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Talk to Tanner Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you and I the best entrepreneurs we can be, not only for ourselves, but for the people we love and care about most. We're all about personal development here. You become better for not only you, but the people you love and care about most. You gotta be a little uncomfortable and take that leap of faith. You're in control of the process. I'm here with you. If we don't continue to grow, if we don't continue to move on, we will be sad and upset. And today we're going to be talking about having difficult conversations. Difficult conversations, they all come up in all of our lives, whether it's a time for us to be talking to our boss, whether it's a time for us to be talking to a co-worker, someone we work with. Maybe it could even be a family member or a friend. And then you can just see when these things build up, the longer we wait, usually the more pressure that applies to us. This can come in forms of anxiety or just other stress hormones throughout the body, which can be really hard on us. It can hurt even our health or our ability to just perform at the level we want. So having difficult conversations comes in all of our lives. And I just wanted to touch on this morning's episode about a rough parameter and how we're trying to find somewhere in the middle in this graphic that I got out of this book that I thought was right. So we're going to start out with a nice little graphic. So we have, as you're having conversations with people, we can be totally passive. We can be passive in our approach when we're having the conversation that is necessary. Passive, this would be if we're too passive. This could be a pushover. We could become a pushover. You don't want to be a pushover, or you could be powerless. Powerless. So we want to be very careful being too passive on the spectrum when we're having hard conversations, because if we're too passive, we can become a pushover, and then they push even more responsibility onto us when we're trying to get responsibility taken off of our plate, and then we feel completely powerless. So on this side, the left side of the scale, being too passive, we have aggressive. So if you're too far on the scale, this is when you're just flat out, you're hostile and inconsiderate. Hostile, inconsiderate. When we're having difficult conversations and we're trying to grow, work with people, we can either be here over on the complete left side of the spectrum, where you're just very, very passive. You're kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I'll let it go. It's not worth the difficulty of exchanging words with this person. I'm not going to do it. Go ahead and go do whatever you want. It's better than talking to you. So kind of just letting people run ham with it, and then you're kind of getting pushed over and you feel a little bit powerless. This happens in a lot of conversations just because we don't want to deal with it. And then on the opposite side, we have where we're being probably too aggressive. This is where someone's hostile. They're saying snarky remarks. They're just coming right back at you. We've all had these type of conversations, or we got to be careful when we do this ourselves. Most importantly, control our own actions. But this is when someone can get very hostile. When, say, maybe you're laying out a new responsibility for somebody, or you're laying out, these are the expectations for this. And for a long time, we've been so passive that we can't take it anymore. We're all bottled up with rage, and then bam, we explode into aggression, and we don't handle it. And then these people match our emotions. They talk about mirroring a lot when you're trying to set an energy or a tone that you want, and you're kind of just, so say if you want it to be a neutral, more calm setting, you're kind of talking in the tone that you want to control in the room, and you're trying to hold that tone. But if you come in very aggressive, it's very easy for the other person to match that, as I'm sure you can tell with your own experiences. And so what would be in the middle? Assertive. We want to be assertive in our conversation. So we don't want to be too passive, but we don't want to be too aggressive. We want to be assertive. So this would look more like just clear and concise. So clear and concise with assertive, or it's value. So you're valuing yourself and others. So not just you, not just yourself, but also the other person. But you're being very clear and concise, very laid out. One of the things that I've been learning is laying out, and I've heard this a million times, I've read it in a dozen books. You need to set expectations on the front end, and it makes things so much easier in the long haul. And I wish I would have been a little bit better at this, specifically when I was first getting started with buying rental properties and real estate. That was a lot more difficult for me to just pick the right people and talking to them and this and that, versus I was just like, I just want cash flow. I want to retire as young as possible. I don't have to do this. I want to make more money and work less hard. And it turns out doing the work on the front end, it will save you 1,000,000 times the work on the back end. But we all got to learn from that. I'm learning and growing myself too. But being assertive, laying out expectations, what it is that you want, being very clear and concise on what it is you want, and then also valuing yourself and the other person. So I'm going to write down 3 little side notes that I want us to keep here and take home. I'm running out of room. So these 3 things that I want us to remember. Really, the things that we need to make sure is we need to stand our ground. Number 1, stand our ground. We need to be able to stand our ground and what we represent, what we're trying to see, because if we're not serious, one of the things that happens a lot in communication, I believe, is that we are apologizing way too much. I'm sorry, or I'm not really sure if this is right, but you should do this, or I know I don't really know your situation or background. It's like we're tiptoeing around every little thing versus like, this is to my best ability, or this is what I believe would be the best. This is my responsibility position. So the other person's viewpoint, the other point of view. We are not that other person. We have not lived their lives. We don't know their experiences full on. So we can't pretend that we know everything, everyone, and everything. People speak in generalities a lot. I catch myself speaking in generalities like, oh, they're all like this. Oh, they're all like that. And that, we all know that's not true. Everyone's an individual. So just trying to do your best. So I'm not going to berate myself because I can't fully understand you. That's just impossible. I barely even understand myself. But I am going to do my best ability to understand that, okay, you're coming from this, you're working these type of hours, you have this type of relationship. Who knows? Maybe your parents, your family, your kids, or someone is sick at home. We never know what someone's going through, but we also need to hold ourselves accountable to our own duty to make our own goals and dreams happen too. We want to in life, and negotiations and hard conversations, as much as we can, is create win-win scenarios for you, for I. This has been, in my experience, by far a landslide, the best opportunities available. Think about what it is that you truly want, you need out of these hard conversations. Being very real with yourself. Do you need a certain thing to happen to your environment? Do you need a certain responsibility to be taken off your plate? Understand what it is that you truly want, and then understand what it is that they truly want by knowing their other point of view while we're standing our ground, and we're trying to see how the hell can we create a win-win situation here. Thanks for checking out our content. If you want to learn more about investing in yourselves and working with me and our company personally, we offer a 6-week Total Life Mastery Bootcamp where we go over the most important topics to make sure that our life has the foundation we need to catapult us forward to take the right and proper actions to become happier and more productive, guaranteed, or our money back.